Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 News. An emergency video this morning is after 20 years of service to Red Bull Racing, Christian Horner has been sacked with immediate effect from the team. This is a seismic move in the history of Formula 1 after winning 4 consecutive Drivers' World titles over the last few years with Max Verstappen. The chaos has been unleashed over the last 18 months within this team. So many individuals have left. Now Horner is either paying the price or this is a necessary sacrifice to try and keep Max at the team. So many rumours flying around as to why this is happening now, what it means for Verstappen's future with the Mercedes rumours continuing to swell, and also what it might mean for Ferrari. Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. You're going to want to subscribe because I'm not going to lie, this is not going away anytime soon. This is where it all begins this morning. So at basically 10 a.m. my time, Eric Van Haren is the first to break the story, and that says a lot immediately because as we know, this guy is very well connected with the Verstappen camp. It was coming out of the Dutch media first. So what does that tell you about the situation? But as he says, the bomb has dropped at Red Bull Racing, which kind of implies this has been coming. It's a matter of time. They dropped the bomb now after Silverstone as we're in a couple of week break. So I imagine they'll have to talk about it in the media for the next couple of weeks of the races. Team boss and CEO Christian Horner has been sacked after more than 20 years. Staff in Milton Keynes have just been informed. It seems like therefore this decision maybe was made a few days ago and other people at the time were saying, yeah, you know what, this actually is happening. When Van Haren says it, he's got the scoop from the Verstappens and, you know, this is a done deal. Whether Max Verstappen is happy about this, the answer to that question is probably yes, based on rumours over the last few days and frankly few months at this point as to what the Verstappens thought about Christian Horner and the fact that the Javidya family that lead up Red Bull from the Thai side, they were backing Horner to the hilt until push comes to shove and Max is maybe going to go out the door. But does this decision, has this happened because Max is going to leave, or has this happened to try and keep Max? Because let's be real, apart from Horner, or even with Horner included, Max Verstappen is the most important man at Red Bull Racing right now, and that has become reality under Horner's dominion, for good and for ill, let's say, within the team on some level. And then the BBC pick up on it and they say, well, Andrew Benson did an article to say that it's done, and at pretty much the same time this happened, Red Bull made a statement about it, and they said Horner was released from his operational duties with effect from today. And like Red Bull's statement on it was, there was no like, thanks for your service or whatever. Oliver Mintzlaff did come out and say, we'd like to thank Christian for his exceptional work over the last 20 years, his tireless commitment, experience, expertise and innovative thinking. He's been instrumental in establishing Red Bull Racing as one of the most successful and attractive teams in Formula 1. And it is a remarkable scenario that, as I said at the start of the video, they have won 4 consecutive drivers' titles with Max. They have won 2 of the last 4 constructors' titles as Red Bull Racing. I mean, even 2 of the last 3 would work as well in 2022 and 2023. But over the last 18 months, it's been an absolute shambles. Everyone's left, things behind the scenes have been completely chaotic, and it's kind of felt like only a matter of time until this decision would be made. Why this decision is being made and now is very interesting indeed, but it is remarkable to think that Rob Marshall, one of their top engineering talents, he's gone to McLaren and done great things. Jonathan Wheatley's gone to Sauber, done great things. Adrian Newey's gone to Aston Martin, we've not seen what he's cooking up quite yet, and now Horner's gone as well. It is remarkable to think about that during the 2023 season, this Red Bull outfit looked like one of the most polished and dominant and unstoppable forces that we'd ever seen in the history of Formula 1. Then Dietrich Mateschitz passes away. There's this big power struggle for power behind the scenes. The Marco camp, the Austrian side, the Horner camp, kind of more aligned with the Thai side. Where do the Verstappens fit into the conversation? Newey wasn't very happy. People start leaving, and over the last couple of years, it's all come crashing down. And maybe they just need a straight up reset. That could be the thinking from the top brass of Red Bull, or there could be more to this going on. Because at the weekends, there were these rumours that there was a big argument between Horner and Jos Verstappen at Silverstone, because even, this RB21, even Max is not able to be comfortable with it all of the time. I don't think he's ever really comfortable with it. He's just able to extract performances that others are not, but it's not like this RB21 is a good car, and, it's obviously fast in the right conditions and with the right driver, but it's a big challenge, and Max had a very difficult time in Silverstone, to such a degree that Max, after the race, was asked the question, where are you driving next year? And he said, you know what? I don't really want to talk about that. And that's what he said over the last several weeks, as well as it's become increasingly clear that him leaving Red Bull was a serious option. Even Christian Horner himself was talking about the Max Verstappen situation in the context of, oh, well, you know, maybe 2027 he might consider his options. Horner even said a few days ago that it would be embarrassing if Red Bull were beating Mercedes next year, and says it's unrealistic that they would. So maybe that tells you everything you need to know. But there was this big rumour that there was this major drama, again, between Horner and Jos Verstappen, and this has not been a thing recently. This has been a thing for the last year and a half. So this was a comment from, this is March the 3rd, 2024, when Jos said, there is tension here while he remains in position. The team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't go on the way that it is. It will explode. He is playing the victim. He is the one causing the problems. This quote is now almost a year and a half old, and we are finally seeing the repercussions. I will say it's quite remarkable how, with all the scandals with Horner, with all of the things that he did and said and everything like that, and all the investigations that were had, and all of the drama, from March until pretty much this time last year, Horner got away with that. He was fine. He was kept in his position. But now it's sporting stuff and presumably Verstappen-related stuff that's getting him the sack. And that raises questions on where or where not he might go next. This was a big rumour the other day, and I needed to get into this again just to clarify if you guys didn't see this story a few days ago. But AMUS were talking on the end of June about Verstappen's exit clause and saying, okay, if he's fourth in the championship, let's say behind Russell, then he would be able to leave Red Bull for free after the summer break. That would come, after Hungary, right, in a few weeks' time. The big news, though, in the article was the rumour that the Verstappen clan is working towards a second solution where they get rid of Horner. They apparently are keen, so Jos, who obviously hates Horner, right? Jos and Horner, not the biggest fans of each other. Max's opinion on Horner is presumably similar in some regards. I definitely don't think Max Verstappen is unhappy about Horner getting sacked today. In fact, I think he has probably actively pushed for it. Certainly his father has over the last 18 months pretty much, and has finally got his wish. But what they describe is that the Verstappen clan wanted them to get rid of Horner. The team must reposition itself strategically. That is said to include the demand that Christian Horner be either replaced or have his powers curtailed. So this was a rumour a week ago that the Verstappens have been trying to get rid of Horner, and if they do, they feel like that might give an opportunity for something of a revival at Red Bull Racing. Obviously, what's happened over the last couple of years has been a bit of a disaster. They've lost so many key figures, but there is a feeling that the way that Horner has managed things internally and led the team down this path was making it unsustainable for Verstappen to want to stay. So the argument was, Verstappen was saying, look, if you guys get rid of Horner, then I will either stay or at the very least consider staying. But it does raise some interesting questions as to why the timing is now. Either Max has decided to leave, which I don't think necessarily is the case yet, although conversations are certainly being had, and therefore Horner has to pay the price for that, or Max is staying and Horner made it happen. These are some of the conversations that are currently going around because, Horner leaves or Verstappen leaves and Horner's blamed for it. The thing is, if Max was to leave, Horner probably has to get sacked anyway, just because he led to this scenario where Max is going to leave, having won 4 consecutive drivers' titles at the team. So probably Horner was out the door at some point anyway, let's be honest, and maybe this is Red Bull's last gasp attempt to try and keep him. The question for me is, and we'll get to some other sides of this story in a second of where Horner may go next, and there's talk about that, but also where Max may go next, because there was a rumour today coming out of Gazeta that the president of Mercedes has given the green light for the team to go after Max. So there's a big rumour that's been emerging over the last couple of days that Toto Wolff is under quite a lot of pressure right now from the Mercedes board, because Mercedes are struggling, compared to where their expectations are. The real embarrassing thing for Mercedes is that, okay, in 2022, 2023, whatever, you lost to a newie rocket ship, it is what it is, and yeah, things operationally weren't great, but it was at least not exactly respectable for Mercedes standards, having won 8 consecutive constructors titles, but at least it's understandable maybe, whereas you can't win everything. But when McLaren, a Mercedes customer, are now coming along and dominating the championship, it's actually very embarrassing for Mercedes, this current set of circumstances, and Toto is reportedly under quite a lot of pressure to turn it around and fast, and if you want to turn it around and fast, you go and get Max Verstappen, don't you? So the rumour has it, though, that Max, if he's not 4th in the championship, will have a substantial buyout to his name, team to get him from Red Bull. But it is something that Max would be willing and keen to do. And Mercedes, apparently the president has said, you know what, if you need 102 million euros to go and buy him out, and then another 55 million euros to pay for his salary for the year, go ahead. Apparently that's not a problem. Toto, go out there, get the deal done. That's the rumour of the day. So, as I say, quite a lot happening right now in the Formula One world. But how does this change things, right? Because if Horner was there, then Max seemingly was really looking at the exit door. The rumour is that with Horner gone, Max may be slightly more keen to stay, but also Horner has undoubtedly, whatever you think of the man, done a lot for that team over the last 20 years, knows the ins and outs and everything about the operation of that organisation, and pretty much ran everything, right? Like, the guy knew everything about everything and ran mostly a successful organisation over the last couple of decades. That's now changed. Max Verstappen is not the team principal, right? Like, Laurent Mekies is taking over the team principal role. We'll see his face in a second if you guys aren't familiar with him, but he's the Racing Bulls guy getting the promotion effectively. Is it clear that Red Bull will be able to magically turn it around and 2026 is going to be great? I mean, for the same reason that we're talking about Fred Vasseur, that sacking him would maybe not make much sense going into the 2026 regulations. In just a few months' time, we get to 2026. Surely, for Red Bull's perspective, it's kind of a similar story, that it's not like this change magically makes Red Bull seem like a real contender again next year. It's more like Horner's sacking was more like an inevitability of what's happened over the last 16 months or so, rather than this being a magic fix or whatever. So the thing is, if you're Red Bull Racing, this change may appease Max to some degree. Max may be happy about it, Verstappen's camp may be happy about it. Does it mean that Max isn't just going to leave anyway, this year or the next? No, in fact, I think he probably still will. So, you know, that's the drama for Red Bull, is that they've now sacked Horner, and they might lose Max as well. So what do you guys think in the comments? Enter your thoughts on that. His replacement, as Van Haren says, is going to be this man, Laurent Mekies, who's going to step into that role at Red Bull, and Alan Permane is going to step up to the role at the junior team, as it were, the sister team at Racing Bulls. The other thing that I wanted to mention before we close out the video here is this man, Fred Vasseur. Now, things get really interesting as a result of this, I think, because Christian Horner, what does he want to do next? Does he want to take some time away? But the guy's a workaholic. He's going to want to work in Formula One. And we know it has been reported numerous times, and Horner has talked about it himself personally as well, that Ferrari have approached Horner on at least one, if not multiple occasions, to come and work for them. And Horner has repeatedly said, look, my allegiances lie with Red Bull Racing. So, fast forward to the present day, this is Benedetto Vigna, CEO over there at Ferrari. He was hanging around with the team and, according to reports, told the media that, yeah, he sees a united team. Look, I mean, he's asking this guy, do you like Fred Vasseur? And the guy's saying yes. He's asking this guy, do you like Fred Vasseur? Guys, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying anyway, because Vasseur's under quite a lot of pressure right now. The results Ferrari have delivered haven't been good enough this season. Vasseur's job is reportedly on the line. He's got no contract for next year. The top brass are considering getting rid of him anyway and putting in Coletta, who's running up their WEC program, which is doing, as we know, rather well. But there was a feeling after Silverstone that, yeah, it wasn't a great weekend for Ferrari, but Vasseur maybe is more likely than before to keep his job because it felt like the team was kind of united behind him. Certainly Hamilton's behind him, certainly Leclerc is behind him, and that means a fair bit. But for years, Ferrari have wanted Horner to be their team principal, and now they have the opportunity to go and get him. And this is the really big question for me, because if Horner's been sacked from Red Bull, I mean, you know what this guy's like. He's going to want some revenge, isn't he? Like, he would love, I'm sure Horner would love a world where he turns up to Ferrari now and, you know, turns the ship around over there. And, you know, whatever you think of Horner, and he's certainly a controversial character, he certainly did a job at Red Bull to get them to where they were, from buying the Jaguar team to bringing in the individuals that he did, getting Adrian Newey on board and forming a team that was able to have 2 periods in that time frame of practically dominance with Vettel and then with Verstappen in recent years. You know, he obviously knows what he's doing on some level, but there would be a question to say, damn, this guy, very controversial character, probably should have been sacked last year for various reasons. You know, with all the allegations and all that was going on, do Ferrari want to bring a guy like that into the team? It's a good question. I'm sure the fans are going to have their opinion on it, but we know that John Elkann and the team over there at Ferrari have tried to reach out to Horner before, and now all of a sudden he's available at just the same time that Vasseur feels like he's under so much pressure. So I don't want to say that this has been orchestrated, but it feels like a very interesting pattern of events where just a few weeks ago we had the Italian press saying that Vasseur's under a lot of pressure, top brass want to fire him. We've then had rumours that actually top brass at Ferrari started those rumours and plugged them out there into the media. We were then hearing Elkann was going to make a statement about it. That never happens. And all of a sudden now Horner's gone from Red Bull Racing, and I don't want to say things are coming together as Ferrari maybe envisions, but I mean, look, could you imagine a world? And as people are going to say, I don't think that there's going to be many people out there, Ferrari fans, Hamilton fans, whatever, who want Horner to be at Ferrari. Like, hell would have frozen over if you'd have told me that Horner and Hamilton would have been kind of teammate at Ferrari, as it were, in, like, let's say 24 months ago or whatever. Like, if you'd have told me Horner would have been the team boss of Hamilton at the Scuderia, I'd have asked you for what you were smoking, right? But, you know, I wouldn't say it's impossible right now. I wouldn't say it's impossible, although, as I say, I'm sure that the vast majority of fans out there do not want to see this by any means. Very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. We've got lots to discuss, I'm sure, over the coming days. So subscribe if you're new. Thanks for all the support over the last few days as well. Maybe back later today, may not be. We'll see what happens. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time.